All right, so today Combat and I are going to be debating composite Spawn versus composite Dean Winchester. And for the record, we're going to be equalizing stats, hacks. There'll be no layers. Is that correct, Combat?
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty. So with that out of the way, you want to get down to business and go over your premise?
Okay, so for my premise, Spawn will use anything and everything he has in his disposal to help him against Dean.
All right. Well, Dean will use everything that he has at his disposal to help him in this situation. So, would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
I guess you can go first this time.
Okay, sure. So, I would argue that Dean, he can touch you, and when he touches you, you'll die, as Dean has death hacks due to having the ring of death on his finger. And so, yeah, I would argue death hacks. I'll post a clip.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just go
So
in
is there like a
yeah, go into like a minute. Actually, yeah, go around 2 minutes and then watch from there. All right, you there?
okay? That song idea was funny.
Yep. So, any thoughts on that?
So when that guy died and he reappeared again to and seeing his own dead body, was it like his soul?
I mean, yeah.
And all what this kind of deck hacks does is from what I saw, Dean said something and the random guy died of a heart attack.
He actually didn't say anything. He just reached his hand out, if you saw, and as soon as he touched him, the dude fully died. That was like the first time Dean did that. So at that point, he was a little skittish on it, but that's the context, though. That's why that wouldn't actually apply here, because this is Comp Dean. And that was the very first time he did it. But all he
So
would
when
have
he
to do
did
is
that,
touch
he
you.
no, sorry.
All he would have to do is just touch you.
Let me think for a bit. So is this actually something that Dean would start off using in character, like right off the bat?
Well, I don't see why that would inherently matter because it's like on his finger as it is, so he would just have to like punch you or hit you. All he has to do is touch you.
Yeah, okay, I guess. So to what extent is this deck hacks capable of?
Well, what do you mean by what extent?
What sort of all effects is it capable of? Is it like does it limit to using a living person? Can it affect souls, or the other dead people, stuff like that?
Oh yeah, it can affect not only living but also angels and yeah, souls as well. And this is shown when Death himself actually threatened an angel named Castiel, who at the time had absorbed numerous souls from purgatory. And Cass, the only reason he survived was because he quickly snapped the curse that the Winchesters put on Death to pretty much connect him to them to do what they wanted him to do. They wanted him to kill Cass because Cass was going crazy after absorbing these purgatory souls, and he was trying to become the new god, and he was doing a bunch of just insane stuff. They went to death, and death wouldn't necessarily willingly do it for them at that time, so they put a curse. But the point is, this demonstrates that yeah, even death can affect more than just the living. He can affect souls and that of an angel. Would you like to see that clip?
Yeah, sure.
All right. All right. I got the video. My apologies for the wait. Here you go. And the time frame is go around 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Watch from there. You don't have to watch the rest after that point, but you'll hear the statement and the implications just blatantly of death as he's capable of reaping even Cass.
Yeah, so I can believe that it can affect souls as well.
Alrighty,
But is it capable of affecting any person who's already died?
who's already died. Well, what do you mean by that? Because technically, like souls, they're not alive. That would imply the body, they've already died. So, and you just accepted it can work on souls. So I would say it would work.
Yeah. So from a counter on this, I would say that one would avoid the contact upon with the usage of his precog to get out of the way.
Yeah, can you repeat that, please? Because you kind of roboted.
What?
Yeah, could you repeat that? Because you roboted. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, that. I said that Spawn would. Uh, I'm not sure which one. It's on. Oh wait. Before I get into a counter, another question is, can this Ring of Death um affect like creation itself if it was able to?
I didn't hear you. Can it affect what?
Like, would the ring be able to like affect? Would be able to affect like all of creation per se?
Well, I don't see why that would inherently matter. If this is equal stats and hacks, I would say that creation would need to provide a resistance.
Okay, so then I guess I could go into a counter. Spawn would avoid the contact upon thanks to the usage of his precognition. By the way,
Yeah, I don't know what you're like. Is there any way you can like fix your mic or something? Because you keep cutting out.
oh, wait, could I like just leave and real quick? I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah, sure, you can real quick. It's fine.
Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what I said before is that Spawn would avoid the contact on thanks to the usage of his precognition.
Okay. Well, I would argue. Well, first of all, can you elaborate on that? Maybe drop some scans. Give me a little detail.
Oh yeah, I was just getting into that. Like I was just gonna grab a scan real quick.
Sure thing.
Yeah, here's like what I mean by like his precognition.
Okay, so in this situation right here, is this in a combat scenario?
Sort of. So what was happening is that Spawn was across the other side of the world when he got in a battle with Heaven, and he teleported there instead. Like, he considered like using teleportation, but at that time his usage of his magic was extremely limited, and he didn't really want to waste that. So like, he didn't really want to waste that because if he did use that on such a large distance back then, he would have gone to hell and he would have been controlled by and he would have been enslaved by Malbolgia. So this is like an exhausted. And what's happening is that his symbiote is warning him that there's an incoming danger. That like one of his homeless, like one of the homeless people, right, the acquaintances that he hung around with was being kidnapped, and the symbiote led to that situation just so that Spawn could save him. But it didn't really go very well. But he got like engaged in combat, but it didn't exactly go very well. Well, because like the Spawn at that time was weak and like weakened and heavily exhausted.
Okay. So it's like a danger sense I heard you mention. So it's like this helps. So you're arguing this would help him to essentially avoid, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would argue that Dean himself also has a type of precognition in his own right, and this is shown when he was able to essentially stay a step ahead of a man known as Cole. Now, the interesting thing about Cole is he himself prepped on Dean and trained to fight Dean for half his life. He was in the military. He learned numerous martial arts, etc., etc. Right? He trained and got all kinds of prep on who Dean was, what he was all about. Yet when he did get there, Dean had no prior knowledge on him, which makes this feat even more impressive and pretty much solidifies it. And Dean stayed a step ahead of this dude who completely prepped on everything Dean can do, and Dean still was able to stay in front of him, so to speak. So I'll get to that clip, but with that, I'm essentially saying we'll be on pretty much, in a sense, even footing, equal footing with that. So Dean would still be able to tag you nonetheless, and I'll get you that clip. All right, go to 55 seconds. Watch from there. Or watch until you get the gist. And I'm sure I don't have to say this, but just in case, this is blatantly combat applicable. You good?
Yeah, sorry about that. My brother just came in from out of nowhere.
Fine.
But yeah, I did like watch the most gist of that fight.
Okay.
And yeah, honestly, no arguments from that. Like the screen is kind of I wouldn't really say slow motion. Like it's kind of mostly done like instantaneously to give like hints that Dean can predict his attacks.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty blatantly type of precog for him. What solidifies it is again how I explained about him. He prepped for this very moment on everything Dean can do, and Dean had no idea who the heck this dude was, and still did what he did.
Yeah. So for my counter on this, I would say that Spawn can also fight against people. He also has experience of his own. Um. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, he actually kind of went through that similar situation where there was this like this fallen angel by the name of Mammon who who, who also has his own precog, and there was like a scene where he does have it. Um, and like the thing about Mammon is that he prepped for Spawn on for throughout his life just to make him become a Hellspawn purpose so that he can manipulate under him to control his power and like rule all of creation. His verse, but Spawn actually did manage to do this when he unlocked like a hidden aspect that he didn't realize was there, and Mammon was just shocked by this, even to the point that it was pointed out that that he grew afraid, and that this was something that was not coming at all.
Okay, are you done with that? Because I have a
Oh
few
yeah,
more.
I can actually kind of start like posting the scans as well, just to show that.
All right, sure. But one of my first things I'm going to bring up is it's obviously we can't have layers. So what I'm actually getting at is this would just put us on, like I mentioned earlier, like in a sense, equal footing. So it's like you wouldn't necessarily be a step ahead of me, nor I will be of you. So I would still be able to like touch you.
Oh, what I mean by that is like Spawn would also kind of have like experience of his own to like help him against Dean.
He would what?
Like just more so that that like his own experience fighting against like precognition against someone with precognition would also just help him avoid
Wait,
like
you? Oh, wait. Right there. Are you claiming that the dude who prepped on Spawn has precognition because he prepped on him? I'm just asking.
yeah, he did prep on him.
Yeah, but I never. Well, for me, I never actually stated for Dean that he out precog someone with precog. What I said was someone prepped on him for half his life and trained to like beat him. That doesn't mean like Cole himself has precog. That just shows Dean does. So that doesn't mean in the same sense that wouldn't actually fit. I never said anything about that. So like just because you prep on someone, that doesn't like give you precognition on them. That that would just mean the dude who stayed all them steps ahead or whatever, like stayed a step ahead the whole time. They're the ones who was able to predict the prep. With the other dude, yeah, I never actually mentioned that myself. So you saying like as well, like your dude can do that as well to someone with precog? That's I never said that. I don't think prepping on someone inherently like gives you precognition on them. I would just say the other guy has the precog if they have no clue and yet they're just blatantly staying like out predicting them, doing all that to someone who prepped in order to beat them in every way like that. Yet they still out predicted them. That would just give our guys precog, not the other dudes. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Anyway, yes.
You cut out. Can you repeat that?
I'm just
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, got interrupted again.
Okay. So what are you saying?
Nothing. I just really more so like thinking of like what to do next.
Okay.
Okay, so my next move, just so I wouldn't get touched by Dean's Ring of Death, I would argue that Spawn would just freeze you in your place.
What do you mean freeze you in your place? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how does he go about doing that? Like, what does he use to freeze you?
So what I mean by freezing, I don't mean as in like a literal ice. I just mean more so like I just mean more so like when how do I explain this?
Is it kind of like telekinesis per se? Like
Yeah, something like that.
okay, like telekinesis. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would argue. So, can you show that first, though?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. That's not what I argued. I was like just correcting what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I know.
Right on. Oh yeah, I can already tell from the start. It's looking like telekinesis, just from the
Mhm.
image on its own, without even reading it. But I'm reading through it. So, and this is okay. Well, I would argue Dean can actually resist telekinesis, and this is actually shown when he actually resisted Avedon's telekinesis when she was holding him in place, trying to kill him, her telekinesis, and he was on screen blatantly resisting it to the point where he just broke out of it completely and killed her. And I'll show you that. All right, about to post it. There you go, my dude.
Okay, so I did watch that. Correct me if I heard you wrong. Like, what exactly was the whole concert?
Yeah, you cut out when you said correct me if I'm wrong. I lost you.
Yeah, what I meant is like, what exact? You probably already explained this before, but like, in case I don't really just in case I don't strawman you on accident, what exactly was the whole situation of the deal?
What was the situation of what you cut out?
The context of that situation.
Oh well, Avedon was trying to kill Dean, and she was holding him in place, trying to pretty much crush him. And then Dean started resisting, and obviously he got his first blade back to him as well. And then he starts marching to kill Avedon because the whole goal was to do just that, to kill Avedon. So that demonstrates he was able to resist her abilities, which includes telekinesis in that moment. And once he fully broke out, he completely one-shot her.
So my my other question would be, how long did it actually take Dean to resist her telekinesis?
Well, in the clip, it shows Dean resisting it when the first blade is on the ground. He was like resisting it, but to a lesser degree. But then when the first blade is in his hand, he easily gets out of it, and that's when he marches up to her and one shots her. And obviously, this is comp, so he would have the first blade on him in hand. So that's to answer your question. It really wouldn't take much time.
Wait, so oh, sorry, go on.
No, it really wouldn't take much time, to be honest, as I just explained, because he'll have the first blade in hand. That's a comp weapon. Telekinesis really wouldn't have much effect at all. So with that said, I would still say Dean can hit you. Won't have much effect on him. I'll just die.
Okay, so to counter that, I would just say that instead of hitting Spawn, Dean is just gonna be hitting himself instead.
And why is that?
Uh, I'll post the scans real quick.
Yeah, but you can also explain it. Yeah.
Go from bottom to top.
Yeah. Can you explain your own scan to me, like vocally?
Okay, so that's thanks to there was this demon that Spawn had a skirmish with when he was trying to save his man, and when he was lunging at when he was about to lunge at him, this demon just commanded like just more so commanded Spawn to stop, and like um instead of Spawn hitting the demon, it was just a complete. It just kind of more so ended up in just Spawn hitting himself with his own, stabbing himself with his own chain.
Well, Spawn stabs himself
Yeah.
because of this. Well, because of this demon's power. But why does that correlate to Spawn?
Uh, that's dude. That's thanks to since this is composite Spawn, it would include that he fused with the Mother of Existence, and the Mother of Existence is essentially creation herself, where all of these demons, angels, and even these humans are just aspects of her, and has all the knowledge of their abilities.
Yeah. Well, can you show that?
Yeah, sure. Give me a minute.
Okay. And also, yeah, for one, having knowledge on those abilities, like, why does that inherently mean Spawn himself would use it in character? Because again, they still would go about using things in character. Just because they have something they could use doesn't inherently mean they would use it. So I'm gonna need you to go over that as well after you get that.
That's kind of more so that the mother lets Spawn be the dominant personality used, and and I would argue that Spawn would actually use this because each time he's given new gifts from either his transformations or when given new weapons or having other powers thanks to the green world, he has shown to use these in character multiple times in combat scenarios.
Yeah, but has he shown to use this specific ability?
He's not really shown that because there really wasn't a need for it.
Well, that's not really, yeah, that's not really answering the question. Because there wasn't inherently a need, it's there's really not a big base, like a large basis for what you're arguing, because we don't really know how he would go about using it because he never has. So it's still presupposing, and even trying to connect these other things that he's used, that doesn't inherently work either. Those are completely different things in his mind and how he uses them. So again, he may have this ability, but based off what you said, we don't actually know how he would go about it. So that would be a large assumption on your part, and you don't really have anything to back that up that you've shown.
Oh wait, give me like a few. So could you like explain that real quick because like you kind of cut off like for some of the parts for me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say again that what you've said, it doesn't really have a strong basis or foundation because you're trying to connect other stuff he's done with, in his character with other abilities he's obtained, and you're just trying to use that to say, oh yeah, so he'll more than likely use this, but that doesn't really demonstrate inherently more than likelihood of it though. That's the thing. That's still, and then you saying like, oh well, he hasn't really had a need to. That's not inherently answering the question either. So I would say this doesn't really have a strong like basis. You don't have really anything to back this up because we don't really know based off everything you said yourself and shown me. We don't actually know how he himself would go about him like using this. So I don't think trying to connect those other things to this works at all. I don't think that's a strong basis. And just saying, oh, he didn't have a need, it's like that doesn't necessarily answer it either. So I don't think you can really use this. Did you hear me that time?
Yeah, I did. I'm just trying to think of something.
Okay.
Okay, so I would argue that he would still use this, mainly because of like the for like the in character of Spawn, just like a I know there wasn't it's not much of a strong basis that when I said that he didn't really need for it, which was true, but like the thing with Spawn is that whenever he actually does face someone that's a relative or stronger than him, he does the most dangerous thing there is to know about him, like when he goes up against those kinds of opponents, is that uh is that he does have like he use like multiple other. It's just like he kind of uses like his. It's just more so that how do we say this? Like the most dangerous thing there is for like his military mindset that he would have to use like every that he does use like everything there is to survive. Think like back when he was like Al Simmons, and this did apply to when he became like I keep stumbling like when he became a Spawn, but like he couldn't he but like in those situations he couldn't really use like other powers that weren't his own because like he didn't really fuse with the mother like he does in this situation and
Go on.
yeah he couldn't really use his like other people's powers because like he didn't really fuse with the mother and B because of that it kind of more so limited him in a way. But now that thanks to the fact that he did use the mother, he has like a whole variety of like abilities and knowledge like handed down to him. So I don't see why he wouldn't really use this.
Okay. So we'll go over this. So this kind of goes back to not having a strong basis point, which you actually did concede to it a minute ago that it wasn't a very strong one. So what I'm about to say is you're also begging the question because again, what you just said there was very long-winded. And it was pretty much saying the same thing you said a minute ago, just in different words. And then you still said, so I don't see why he wouldn't. But it's like you still haven't demonstrated him to. We don't really know. So again, you're still somewhat begging the question, and this kind of goes back on it not having a strong basis, which you yourself have already went on record to say it's not a strong basis. So
No, I meant more so like it's like a strong base of like using like someone else's power that
well,
not
no,
like
like you literally a minute ago said yeah, and the argument you presented wasn't a strong, didn't have a strong basis. You literally admitted that. So what and everything you just said again was pretty much just going over that, except you added more into it, more words, but ultimately it's still going in a circle. You're not really showcasing me what you're actually trying to make him do. Like, and again, so I don't think this argument works at all for you.
oh wait yeah I can drop like scans where he did actually use like other abilities that were handed down to him, and he
I've
does
already
use it
went
like
over that though. That doesn't help. I've already went over that. You've already, that's actually part of your, I just said that's literally part of your original argument you tried that you've already admitted wasn't a strong basis. That's actually part of that too that we've already went over. So him using other abilities, that's not a strong basis for an argument. So I would say either drop this point or move on, or Dean's just gonna hit you and you'll die because you've already went on record and your own argument has already crumbled apart.
okay, so I'll just move on to like another counter instead.
Okay.
It's honestly kind of hard because like there's like so many abilities and like I'm kind of trying to make sure which is like the right one to use. Oh wait, so uh I'll counter that Spawn would use his the weapon one weapon against Dean to counteract the ring.
What do you mean his own weapon to counteract the ring? How would he do that?
Okay, so since he can't really use like that other demon's ability, uh the sword that like a spawn would just that would that spawn would and that he would use it use his weapon to ju- yeah to so that he would cut Dean in an attempt to cut Dean as well. And when going up upon a contact with this, his soul would be absorbed into the sword. Which I can send scan to that quick.
Yeah, send that scan. Also, are you able to demonstrate this can actually cut through death itself? Because with this ring on, Dean actually is death. That's what even the episode title even said on the video as well. Like he played death for a day, like he himself was death. So his natural state in this fight is a state of death.
Wait, so he wouldn't really have a soul or anything?
Yeah, essentially, this isn't like human Dean. And with Death's ring on, he's death itself. Like he's death. So you're not able to do that, and even if it hits me, you're still gonna get touched right after. It won't do anything to me. And you'll still die. So yeah, as soon as you swing, you're still gonna die right after.
Okay, so I guess I would get away by using teleportation.
Well, how would you get away though in time? Because like, how would he know what to get away from is the thing. Because all he's gonna see is Dean reaching out to touch him or hit him. Like, has Spawn ever shown to start off avoiding a strike via teleporting, like via teleporting like that?
Well,
But at that point, you're
so
close
to make
up.
sure
I would say it's easy
to
for
make
Dean to hit you.
wait, so wouldn't we already be engaged in a fight where like earlier you were showcasing that Dean would that Dean was just how do I say this? Like not like hold his own, but
Well, I can just tell you this: like, we haven't fully engaged in a full-on fight yet. Yeah, we've well, to be fair, we've engaged, but we haven't even got started. Is the thing, so to speak. That's how it could be looked at and should honestly, because what we did was work our way up to close quarters, and that's why it come down to what it is now. So you still don't have much of an idea, you know, Spawn doesn't of what Dean can do. So at this point, they're still up close and personal. So I wouldn't say that Spawn, based off what you can demonstrate, but I wouldn't say he would just inherently just teleport away right away when they haven't just started. They just literally got started a minute ago. They just now got close personal. So with that, Dean still just one touch, just one hit, whatever, and you're dead. Are you there?
oh yeah, I was trying to think.
Well, fought well you have, my Padawan.
Trying to think.
Yeah.
Screw it, I'm gonna risk this. So I guess so I would so I would just counter by saying that on Spawn using a passive fear hacks.
Why? Okay. Why is it passive? And can you actually demonstrate this works on like death itself, like the state of being that's death?
I guess it would. I guess it would add up since Spawn does have like deck packs of its own.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. why does death hacks help you affect death itself when death itself is just that? That doesn't mean anything for you. And you argued fear hacks, so you're also presupposing those two things correlate as well. That's something else you would have to prove. That's like multiple things you just put on the table for yourself.
Okay, this time something can actually affect the.
Like what?
I'm thinking of something of like a hack that can actually like affect death.
I personally don't have a lot of time left myself, but if you could maybe try to think of something. But
So I guess I would just I would just how do I word this one? So uh, I was gonna say that I would have like used the chains to stop and to like I like to use the chains, but it can't really affect death. So
yeah, so I would say at this point, not to sound like this is not me like being rude or anything. I'm just like stating it just seems like you're kind of grasping at straws at this point. So I would just say Dean kind of wins at this point. You don't really have anything.
okay, one last thing just to possibly counter this one. So argument would be that Spawn would be resurrected thanks to his Type 4 immortality.
Okay. Well, how long does that take?
Uh, let me check.
Yeah. And all I'm gonna say is right. Even with it, I'm just gonna go ahead and go on record because even with this resurrection, you know, that still doesn't really help. All you'll be doing is just responding and coming back. But I'd still be the dominant force, and I just keep hitting you every time you just woke back like resurrected. So even if you come back, that doesn't really help you. I'd still be the more dominant force in this fight. You wouldn't be. You wouldn't be able to do anything.
So yeah, I kind of like I just post the scans where he does come back to life.
Okay. Well, again, how long does this take? And after you do that, it still leads me back to what I just went over. Like just because you can come back doesn't really help you win, though. It doesn't help you beat Dean, like in your premise. So you just be coming back, and I'd still just be the dominant force, killing you over and over and over, like right on the spot when you come back. So
It lasted for like somewhere around like a few minutes, but like for like this last one, I'm just kind of more so trying to go over in a stalemate.
yeah, well, it wouldn't be a stalemate, and that would actually you would have actually been that would be conceded on your premise because you specified it would help Spawn beat Dean. You actually specified that too in your premise.
No, I said it will help him against Dean. Not that it
How
would
he
beat him.
helped him against Dean. Yeah. So that's so how is a stalemate helping him against Dean?
So that he doesn't permanently die.
Okay. Well, even with that, again, I would still be the more dominant force. There wouldn't be any type of a stalemate.
Yeah,
And
like I said, I'm also trying to go over a stalemate. Not that it actually is.
I know you're trying, but trying isn't doing. So with that, you're actually presupposing that you're not going to be able to do it. You're just trying. So again, I think this is a GG.
Yeah. I did not think I would do this badly.